we are live or not so that I can start the class. So we are live now. Hello everyone, good evening, welcome to the session. So welcome to Unacademy ICSE and ICSE YouTube channel. This is Manisha, your class 9 chemistry educator, and today we are going to do your types of chemical reactions from the second chapter, chemical changes and chemical reactions. So this is my credential. I have 6 years of teaching experience, and you can join me on Telegram using this link, and for all the homeworks and class notes in PDF format. This is the Telegram channel of Unacademy ICSE and ICSE board, which you can join for all the updates and notifications. The link is given in the description box. Hello Akrish, welcome to the session. So okay. So these are the special, there are special classes which are absolutely free of cost. Hello Alok, welcome to the session. So these are the special classes are absolutely free of cost on the Unacademy app, and you can join them using just the app. You have to just download the app, follow the instructions, fill on your credentials, and then you can use my code Manisha Live to unlock all the free special classes. Okay, and your every class will be unlocked, and you can watch my special classes on Unacademy app, and you can clear your doubts in the special classes. Also you can participate in the polls and give answers in the polls. Okay, so many things you can do in the special classes. The special class for class 9 generally starts at 5:15 to 6:15 p.m. on Unacademy app, so you can join me over there. So before I start any class, please let me know, Alok and Akrish, am I clearly audible and visible to all of you in the class? Yes? So Unacademy subscription, if you want to take it, you can take it. So we have so many features for Unacademy Plus subscription, like you can learn live from the comfort of your home. You will have unlimited access to all the courses, top educators of India are teaching on this platform, regular doubt solving sessions, exhaustive coverage of syllabus, mentorship and guidance, study material. Okay, just give me a moment everyone. Study material, practice test, live test series, batches and courses, all of these features are available with only single subscription. And if you take the subscription for class 9, you get 10, 11, 12 subscription for absolutely free. So since your new academic sessions have already started, so just go for 12 month or more than that subscription. And if you are taking the subscription, do not forget to use my code Manisha Live, which will give you 10% discount on all of your subscribed amount. Okay, so Creative Corner is back for class 9 students, where on purchasing 12 month subscription you get 3 months extra. So this Creative Corner's date has been extended. You can use my code to take the subscription of Creative Corner, where you can inculcate your hobbies. You can learn everything related to your hobbies, like if your hobby is art and craft or singing or dancing, anything you can learn it here. Okay, so this is a very good offer, so please go for it, and let's start the class without any further delay. So please let me know, am I clearly audible and visible to everyone in the class? Please go for it and let's start. Okay, so yes, I am audible and visible. So let's start with the types of chemical change or chemical reactions. Okay, so types of chemical changes and reactions. So whatever you say, chemical change or chemical reactions, both means the same. Okay, so let's write it here as types of chemical reactions. Yes, that is only our topic. So types of chemical reactions. So can anyone tell me how many types of chemical reactions we have? How many types of chemical reactions we have? Yes, anyone? So first type of chemical reaction is your direct combination. Okay. So first type of your chemical reaction is direct combination, or you can call it combination reaction, or you can call it synthesis reactions also. Okay. So anything you can call it. Second type of chemical reaction is your decomposition reaction. Okay. Decomposition reactions. Then third is your displacement reaction. And fourth is your double displacement reaction. Hello Smriti, very good afternoon. Welcome to the session. So welcome to the class. So double displacement reaction we have. Okay. So these are the four types of chemical reactions you have, that is direct combination reaction, or you can call it only combination reaction, or synthesis reaction. Second is your decomposition reactions. Third is your displacement reaction, and fourth is double displacement reaction. So all these reactions we are going to cover in today's session. So let's start with first your direct combination. So before I go on to explain you the reactions or types of reaction, let me tell you first what is a chemical reaction first of all. So chemical reaction is a chemical change where the reactants participate in the reaction to form different products, where your old bonds between the atoms are broken and new bonds are formed. Okay. For example, A and B reacting together to produce your C and D. So this will be a chemical change, as well as you can call it as chemical reaction also. Okay. So the compounds which are written on the left hand side of the arrow, that is your reactants. Okay, the compound written on the left hand side of the arrow is your reactants, and the compound written on the right hand side of the arrow, that is your product. Okay. So always remember, reactants react together to produce the products. Okay. So let's start with the direct combination or synthesis reaction. क्या होता है ये direct combination? From the name itself, you can identify direct combination means something is combining together to give you a product. Yes or no? Just give me a second. Clear? So direct combination stands for your where reactants are combining together to give you a product. Okay. Hello Sandeep, welcome to the session. So very welcome on the channel also. So you are new here. Okay Sandeep, so you are from class 9 or from class 10? Means you are starting your new academic session for your class 9 or for class 10? So because this session is going to be very helpful to all of you, for all those students who are starting their new academic sessions for class 9. Okay. So direct combination means a reaction where your two or more substances will combine together to form a single substance. Okay, direct combination में क्या होता है? Okay, Sandeep, you are from class 10. Okay. चलो, no issues. So for class 10, the classes are at 9 p.m. at night. Okay. My classes for class 10 starts at 9 p.m. at night. So this is the class for your class 9 students. So you can share it with your juniors, the classes link, so that they can also join it. Okay. So direct combination, what is happening? The reaction where your two or more substances are combining together to give a single product. So what happens in combination reaction? Two or more reactants basically. Okay, so two or more reactants, they combine together, okay, to form a single product. ठीक है, सिंगल प्रोडक्ट बनता है कब जो दो या दो से अधिक reactants combine करते हैं. For example, your A plus B combining together to give you a C. So this is a combination reaction. Always remember, इसमें हमेशा two and more substances they combine together to form a single product. ठीक है. For example, let me show you some examples. So in this case, if I take carbon and if I take oxygen and if I react them together in presence of heat, what will happen? This carbon and oxygen will combine together to produce your carbon dioxide. So this is a combination reaction. Why is it called synthesis reaction? Because here two or more elements or your compounds are combining together to form a new product. That's why it's known as synthesis reaction also. That means synthesis of something is taking place. Okay. Now this is the reaction where your two elements are combining together to form a product. Okay. That is a compound. Clear? Now second example we can have where an element will combine with a compound to give you a new compound. Okay, new compound as the product. So let me show you that reaction, all of you. So for example, if your carbon monoxide is combining with oxygen in presence of heat to produce carbon dioxide. So in this case, your one compound is reacting with the element to produce a compound as a product. So this is also a example of your combination reaction. Okay? Third is your when two compounds combine together to form a single product. So here in this case, ammonia combines with, let's say, HCl to produce your NH4Cl. So this is the case of combination reaction where your two compounds are combining together to give a compound as a product. Clear? So these are the different types of chemical reactions, different examples of combination reactions. So I hope it is clear to all of you where two or more substances combine together to form a single product, that is known as your direct combination synthesis or only combination reaction. Second, that the reaction type that we have is your decomposition reaction. Okay, decomposition reaction में what happens? From the name itself you can understand decompose हो रहा है. That means breaking of a compound. Okay, breaking of a compound or a reactant. You can write either compound or a reactant to give. Breaking of a reactant or a compound to give two or more products. So if one single reactant is breaking down to produce two or more products, that is known as decomposition reaction. Okay? Breaking of a reactant to give two or more products, that is known as decomposition reaction. Okay? Now this breaking of a compound or reactant can take place in the presence of certain conditions. Like this breaking can take place in the presence of heat, this breaking can take place in the presence of light, or this breaking can take place in the presence of electric current. That means we need to provide the energy to the reactant in some form to break down it into two or more products. Okay? So that can be your heat, that can be your light, that can be your electric current. So on this basis, on the sources of energy that we are using to break down your reactant to give out your two or more product is means on these sources basis there are different types of decomposition reaction. Okay? So decomposition reaction, you can see decomposition reaction, as I told you, is a reaction where your reactant, one single reactant is breaking down to give two or more products. So let me show you the first the general form of this decomposition reaction. A is breaking down to, let's say, give you B and C. So this is your decomposition reaction. This breaking of A can take place in the presence of heat, in the presence of light, or in the presence of your electric current. So on these sources of energy, on the basis of these sources of energy, a decomposition reaction is of three types. Okay, let me show you what are the three types of this decomposition reaction. First is your thermal decomposition. Thermal decomposition का मतलब क्या होता है? What is the meaning of thermal decomposition? When the reactant is broken down in presence of heat energy, that is known as thermal decomposition. That means your decomposition is brought about by the action of heat on the reactants. So reactants को किस तरह का energy दिया जा रहा है? Your heat energy. So that will absorb that heat energy and will break down to produce your two or more different products. So that is your decomposition, thermal decomposition reaction. Examples are like your potassium nitrate if you take. That is a solid. if you give it heat energy, or let me write it heat energy fully, so what will happen? It will break down to produce your potassium nitrite and your oxygen gas. So this is an example of your thermal decomposition reaction where your where the reactant is absorbing the heat energy to get decomposed or broken down to form two or more products. Okay, similarly, if you take your lead nitrate, this is a single reactant, and if you heat it, this is the symbol for heat. This triangle represents your heat basically. Okay, so when you provide heat to this reactant, it will break down to produce your lead oxide, nitrogen dioxide and your oxygen gas. Clear? So this is all the examples of your thermal decomposition reaction where the reactant is getting broken down in the presence of heat to produce two or more products. Clear? I hope it is clear to all of you in the class. Next, on the basis of light, so if you provide light energy to any reactant and it is breaking down to produce your two or more products, that is your photolytic decomposition reaction. Okay, photolytic decomposition reaction. So photolytic means in the presence of light, you are breaking down a reactant to give out your two or more products. For example, if you take AgCl, that is silver chloride, and if you keep it in the sunlight, it will decompose to break down, decompose and it will produce your silver and your chlorine gas. So let's balance this reaction. Okay. So photolytic decomposition में what happens? Your reactant absorbs the sunlight and decomposes, or you can say breaks down to produce your silver and chlorine gas. Okay, this is an example of photolytic decomposition reaction. There are more examples of this. For example, if you take your H2O2, that is your hydrogen peroxide, and you keep it in sunlight. So what happens? Your H2O is produced and your oxygen gas is produced. Clear? Similarly, if you take nitric acid and if you keep it in the sunlight, it will produce your nitrogen dioxide, oxygen and your water. Clear? So nitric acid also produces your nitrogen dioxide, oxygen and water in presence of your sunlight. Clear? Is everything clear to everyone in the class? Tell me fast. Yes or no? Clear? So you can balance it also. So let's say here you have 2, 4 plus 2, 4, 1, 5 oxygen you have. And then here in this case you have 1 nitrogen and 2 hydrogen. So let's balance the nitrogen first. So 1 nitrogen balance oxygen. So here you have 5, here you have 3. So let's put here 2. So 2 3 is 6. And let's put here, अगर हम यहाँ पर 2 रखते हैं तो 2 2 4 2 6. Now you have 4 hydrogens. Okay, so 4 hydrogens if you have. So let's put here 4. So now 4 nitrogen. Okay, no, do not put here 2. Let's put 2 over here. Okay, let's see what happens. So 2 over here. So now you can see what will be the correct chemically balanced equation. So in this case 2 2 is 4, 2 6 1 7 oxygen, and now here you have 3 oxygen. So 7 by 3, let's put it here. Now you have 2 hydrogen, but here 7 by 3 hydrogen. Okay, let's balance it with the help of your trick that I have told you. So that will be a revision of your trick also, like how to balance this type of reactions. Okay, very sorry. Okay, so let's balance it. So let's put here over A. Here you have B, C and D. So hydrogen के लिए you have A is equals to 2D. Nitrogen के लिए you have A is equals to, yes, B, and your oxygen के लिए you have 3A is equals to 2C plus 2B plus D. Now let's balance this. So let your A equals to 1. अगर A 1 हो गया तो D क्या हो गया आपका 1/2. B क्या हो गया 1 हो गया. So here you have 3 plus 2C plus 2B है तो 2 हो जाएगा. D कितना है half. Okay, so C you have to find out. So 3 minus 2 minus half is equals to 2C. So 6 minus 4 minus 1/2 is equals to 2C. 6 minus 4 2 2 minus 1 1. So here you will have half is equals to 2C. So C is equals to 1/4. Now let's put all the values over here. So I'm just explaining you how to balance the equation. Already we have done a class on this. Okay, so A का हो जाएगा यहाँ पर 1. So do not put 1. Do not need to write 1. B how much you have? B you have as 1. Do not need to write 1. C you have as 1/4. And D half. So let's take out the means here we will take out the LCM and let's remove all these things. Okay, I hope you have understood how to balance this chemical equation. So here you have, let's multiply the entire equation by 2. So 2HNO3 in the presence of sunlight gives 2NO2 plus here if you multiply it by 4, sorry, we have to multiply it by 4 and not 2. LCM we are taking out, not HCF. Very sorry. So if you multiply it by 4, you will have 4HNO3, 4NO2, O2 plus 2H2O. Let's check if it is balanced or not. 4 hydrogens, 4 hydrogens, 4 nitrogen, 4 nitrogen, 4 3 are 12 oxygen. So 4 2 are 8, 8 plus 2 10 plus 2. So 12 oxygen. So already balanced. So this way you can balance any given chemical reaction. So these are the 3 types of decomposition reaction that we have. I have already explained you that. So first is your thermal decomposition reaction where your reactant is broken down in the presence of heat. Second is your photolytic decomposition reaction where your reactant is broken down in the presence of sunlight or any type of light. And third is your electrolytic decomposition reaction. Okay, electrolytic decomposition reaction. Now what will happen? I hope you have understood till now. So the reactant is broken down in the presence of electric current or electricity. For example, if you take your water and if you pass your electric current through it, so what will happen? It will get dissociated or decomposed to give out your hydrogen gas and oxygen gas. That means this is an example of your electrolytic decomposition reaction where the decomposition is done by your passing electric current through the reactant. Okay, so these are the 3 different types of decomposition reaction that we have. I hope it is clear to all of you in the class. Yes or no? Is it clear all of you? Tell me fast. Okay. Chalo. So very good Vishal, well done. So just give me a moment everyone. So after you have studied your decomposition reaction, your combination reaction, so now let's proceed on to your displacement reaction. So third type of reaction is your displacement reaction. ठीक है, displacement reaction में what happens? Your more active element displaces a less active element from its salt solution. Displacement reaction में क्या होता है? More active elements, okay, more active elements, just let me write it properly. More active elements displaces a less active element from its salt solution. Clear? This is your displacement reaction. So from the name itself you can understand what is this displacement reaction, and I hope it is clear to all. So let's just fastly recall the chemical reactivity of the metals. So if you can all remember, it's potassium, sodium, calcium, magnesium, aluminium, zinc, then your iron, then lead, then केदारनाथ का माली आलू जरा फीकी सी पकाता है, कार है अच्छी आपकी. Okay, so Hg, then Ag, then Au. This is the chemical reactivity series for a given metal. So for example, if I take copper sulfate solution and if I react it with zinc, tell me fast, will the zinc displace your copper from the copper sulfate solution? So for this we need to go to the reactivity series and seek our answer. So in this case you can see your zinc is more reactive than copper. Yes, so zinc is more reactive than copper, so of course it will displace your copper from its salt solution to form its own salt or own compound. This is an example of a displacement reaction. So of course the more stronger one always displaces the weaker ones to form their own compounds. So what will happen? Your copper sulfate will break down to produce Cu2 plus and SO4 2 minus. Zinc is here present, so zinc will combine with the sulfate to produce your zinc sulfate, and your copper is produced as a red precipitate in the solution. Clear? So this is an example of your displacement reaction. If I take your magnesium and if I react it with sulfuric acid, that is your hydrogen sulfate solution, tell me fast, will magnesium be able to displace hydrogen from its sulfate solution? So let's see the reactivity series. Magnesium is on the top and hydrogen is on the bottom. So always remember your more reactive elements are present on the top of the series and less reactive elements are present on the bottom of the series. Okay? So your magnesium is of course very much reactive than your hydrogen. So it will displace your hydrogen from its sulfate solution and it will form your magnesium sulfate and hydrogen gas is produced. Clear? Similarly, if I take an example of potassium iodide and chlorine, so what will happen? So your potassium will form product with the chlorine and iodine is produced as a gas now. So this is the way how your displacement reaction takes place, where the more reactive element displaces the less reactive element from its salt solution to form its own compound. Am I clear, all of you? Okay, so tell me fast if this reaction is possible or not. If this reaction is possible or not. All of you please tell me fast this thing. Is it possible that your copper sulfate is formed and your iron is replaced from its or displaced from its solution? Yes? Is it possible, all of you? So the answer is no, this is not possible, because of course iron is more reactive than copper. So copper cannot displace iron from its salt solution. Okay, but the opposite of this reaction is surely possible, that is copper sulfate reacting with iron produces your iron sulfate and copper. Clear? So this is a type of your displacement reaction only. So I hope it is clear to all of you in the class and no doubt is there in anybody's mind. So let's proceed on to our next form of the reaction, that is your double displacement reaction. Okay, double displacement reaction. So we have talked about your combination reaction, we have talked about your decomposition reaction. In that case we have also talked about the different types of decomposition reaction. So thermal decomposition, your electrolytic decomposition and your photolytic decomposition reaction. So all these decomposition reaction we have already discussed, and then now is the time to discuss your double displacement reaction. So double displacement, from a name only you can understand something, two things are getting displaced at the same time. Okay, simultaneously you are displacing two things in a reaction, so it is named as your double displacement reaction. Okay, so just give me a moment everyone, let me drink some water. Okay, so I hope it's clear. Now double displacement reaction mein what happens? In this type of chemical reaction, in this type of chemical reaction, two or more compounds, okay, you can say two compounds, basically only two compounds only. So in this type of chemical reactions, two compounds react to form two new compounds by mutual exchange of radicals. Okay, so what is happening in this chemical reaction? Your two or more compounds are reacting together to form two new compounds by mutual exchange of radicals. So this is known as double displacement reaction, or you can call it as double decomposition reaction also. So let me show you how. So if, like for example, AB is reacting with CD. So in this case, A is a radical, B is a radical. So A is a positive one, B is a negative one. C is also a positive one, D is a negative one. Yes. So all of you know this, that these positive radicals are basic radicals and negative radicals are the acidic radicals. So this A radical will combine with the D radical of the CD compound. That means there is a mutual exchange of radicals taking place. So A will go with D to form a new compound called AD, and B will go with C to form a new compound called BC. So you can see over here that your both positive and negative parts of both the compounds are getting exchanged simultaneously to form your two different compounds, that is two new compounds, and thus this type of chemical reactions are termed as double displacement reaction. Okay, displacement is taking place, but two ions are getting displaced simultaneously. That's why it's known as double displacement reaction. Now your double displacement reaction is of two types. ठीक है, double displacement reactions कितने तरह के होते हैं? It is of two types. First is your precipitation reaction. Let me write it properly for you. Double displacement reactions. These are of two types. First is your precipitation reaction. And second is your neutralization reaction. Okay. So first is your precipitation reaction, second is your neutralization reaction. Clear? Now let's talk about each type of double displacement reactions. First is your precipitation reaction. So now what is this precipitation reaction? Okay. So any chemical reaction where your two compounds are reacting in their aqueous state. Aqueous state means in the form of their solution with water, and they form in the product. One of the compound is your insoluble salt, that is a precipitate as one of the product. This type of reactions are known as your precipitation reactions. So precipitation reactions mein what happens? A chemical reaction in which your two compounds in which two compounds are reacting in their aqueous state to form an insoluble salt. Okay, to form an insoluble salt this insoluble salt is known as a precipitate, as one of the products. Okay, as one of the products is known as precipitation reaction. Clear? So what is happening over here? Here two compounds are reacting in their aqueous state to form an insoluble salt, that is your precipitate as one of the product, is known as your precipitation reaction. For example, you have barium chloride which is in its aqueous solution reacting with sodium sulfate Na2SO4, that is also in aqueous solution. Now what will happen? Both of these will react to form and do double displacement reaction. Okay, and what happened? Your barium will go with sulfate, so BaSO4 is formed, and sodium will go with chlorine, so NaCl is formed. Now this barium sulfate will be obtained as an insoluble salt, that is a precipitate. This is the white colored precipitate formed in the reaction. So in double displacement reaction, whenever you see two compounds reacting together to form an insoluble salt, that is a precipitate as one of the product, that then please identify that reaction is your precipitation reaction. Clear? That is your precipitation reaction, where different colored precipitates are formed when two compounds react together in their aqueous form to give a insoluble salt, that is your precipitate. Next example that we can have is copper sulfate in aqueous solution reacting with your hydrogen sulfide gas. What happens? Your copper sulfide is formed, that is a solid substance, and your H2SO4 is formed in the aqueous solution. Okay, so this cupric sulfide or copper sulfide is the black colored precipitate that you obtain. Okay, black colored precipitate that you obtain, and this is again your precipitation reaction as double displacement reaction as precipitation reaction. Clear all of you? Am I clear till here? Any doubt anyone is having? So precipitation is a formation of a solid when your two solutions are mixed together, that is two compounds in the aqueous form, or when a gas is bubbled through a solution. In this case, your gas is being bubbled through a solution. Clear? This is your double displacement reaction as your examples of precipitation reaction. One more reactions can be shown here. When your silver nitrate react with your HCl or NaCl to produce a white precipitate of silver chloride, and your HNO3 is produced. In this case, this is obtained as a curdy white precipitate. So this is also an example of displacement reaction, and most particularly if I tell you, this is the example of your precipitation reaction. Okay. So I hope it's clear. One more reaction I would like to show you in precipitation reaction. Silver nitrate reacting with sodium chloride produces silver chloride as a white precipitate and sodium nitrate as the solution. Clear? This remains in the aqueous solution. Clear? So this was an example of your precipitation reaction. The second type of displacement reaction is your neutralization reaction. So what happens in this neutralization reaction? Let me show you that example first. Okay, so this is also an example of double displacement reaction only. So before I show you any example, let's write its definition. Okay, so neutralization reaction, what happens? This is a reaction particularly between an acid and base where your salt and water are formed. Okay, when your salt and water are formed. So reaction between an acid and base to form salt and water to form your salt and water is known as neutralization reaction. Clear? So this is the reaction between your acid and base to form your salt and water. So that is your neutralization reaction. Clear? So what happens? Why this reaction takes place? Because the hydrogen ion from the acid combines with the hydroxyl ion, that is OH minus ion from the base, to form water. Let me show you the reaction. For example, if your reaction is taking place between sodium hydroxide and let's say your HCl. So what will happen? These both in their aqueous state will dissociate or ionize to produce your Na plus and OH minus. So your bases always produce this hydroxyl ion. I hope it is clear to all of you. And then in the case of acid, if you see, this will produce your H plus and Cl minus ion. So this Na plus will go and combine with the Cl minus ion of your acid, that is the anion part of your acid, to form your salt, that is NaCl, and this H plus will combine with your OH minus to form your H2O. So this is again your double displacement reaction because the cation part of the base is combining with the anionic part of the acid and anionic part of the base is combining with the cationic part of the acid. Clear? So this is how your reactions are happening. So NaCl and water is formed when your base is reacting with your acid. Similarly, if you take a reaction like this, when you take your metal oxide, that is sodium oxide, and if you react it with, let's say, your H2SO4, so what happens? You can see that sodium sulfate is formed, Na2SO4 is formed, because this dissociates to produce Na plus and O2 minus ions, and this will dissociate to produce 2H plus ions and SO4 2 minus ions. Okay, these two Na plus ions will go and combine with your SO4 2 minus ion to produce your sodium sulfate, and this 2H plus will combine with your O2 minus to produce your H2O. Clear? So this is also an example of neutralization reaction only, where the salt and water is produced. Clear? So these are the different types of double displacement reaction, and we have understood them with the examples also. So I hope it is clear to all of you. Okay, so let's understand one more reaction, that is your hydrolysis. What is this hydrolysis? Okay, basically it is the reaction where your salt and water react together to form a acid or a basic solution. Okay, so in hydrolysis का मतलब क्या होता है? Hydro means water, lysis means breaking of something. So if any compound breaks down in the presence of water to give a product or new product, we can say that is your hydrolysis. Okay, so basically hydrolysis का मीनिंग होता है ब्रेकिंग ऑफ अ कंपाउंड इन प्रेजेंस ऑफ वाटर. Breaking of a compound in presence of water. Okay, so basically what happens in the hydrolysis? It is the process in which a salt and water react to form an acidic or a basic solution. This can happen in your hydrolysis. Okay. So in this process of hydrolysis, only those salts will hydrolyze, or you can say will break in presence of water, which are formed by a reaction of either strong base and weak acid, or strong acid and weak base. Okay. So in the process of hydrolysis, let me write it for you. So in the process of hydrolysis, only those salts will get hydrolyzed. Hydrolyzed means break down in the presence of water, which are formed by what? Which are formed by reaction of either strong base or weak acid, strong base and weak acid. Okay, strong base and weak acid, or strong acid and weak base, means one has to be, you already know this, that your salts are produced when your acids and bases react together. So if your base is strong and acid is weak, the salt that is formed is basic salt, and that will get hydrolyzed. Or if you are reacting a strong acid with a weak base, so the salt that is formed will have acidic components, that is your acidic salt. So acidic salt will also get hydrolyzed to give a acidic solution. Clear? So let me write the entire statement. So second is your reaction between strong acid and weak base. Okay, strong acid and weak base. So particularly let me show you the reaction. For example, your sodium carbonate. Okay, sodium carbonate has been formed by the reaction of your sodium hydroxide and your carbonic acid. So if you put it in the water, okay, if you put it in the water, what happens? Like this. Na2CO3. Examples I am giving you. Your Na2CO3 is formed by reaction of a strong base and weak acid, which one dissolving in water will make a basic solution. Okay, so let me show you. If you dissolve it in water, it produces your sodium hydroxide and your carbonic acid is formed. So this is again making the solution as basic in nature because the base is strong. Now if you take like potassium phosphate K3PO4, and if you dissolve it in water, it will produce your potassium hydroxide, which is a very strong base, and phosphoric acid, which is a weak acid. Clear? So these are the hydrolysis of basic salts, that is a salt formed by your action of strong base with weak acid. Second is the example of your acidic salts, where the salts are formed by the reaction of strong acids and weak base. For example, your ferric chloride reacting with water produces ferric hydroxide and your HCl. So again, this will turn the solution to be acidic in nature because these are the salts of strong acid and weak base. So this will make the solution acidic in nature. Clear? Similarly, zinc sulfate, if you dissolve it in water, it produces zinc hydroxide and your H2SO4 is produced. Clear? So again, this is a weak base and strong acid. So the solution that we will obtain over here will be acidic in nature. Am I clear, all of you? Tell me first. Yes, this is the hydrolysis. Hydrolysis, that is the breaking of your salts in the presence of water to form an acidic or basic solution. Okay, I hope it is clear to all of you. Okay, so let's do some questions where you have to state the type of the reaction Also, you have to balance the ones which are not balanced. Okay. So let's practice some of the questions. So you have to state the type of the reactions and balance the reactions. So let's try it out. Okay, so we have already studied. So this is my nature that whenever I explain a concept, I tend to revise everything whichever I have taught till yet, so that we can have a good practice of the questions. So let me just revise once whatever the types of reaction we studied just now, and then we will do the revision questions. Okay. So first is your combination reaction. So we studied 4 different types of chemical reactions. First is your combination reaction, also known as direct combination or synthesis reaction. Second is your decomposition reaction. Third is your displacement reaction. And fourth is your double displacement reaction. In combination reaction, 2 or more reactants are combining together to give a single product. That is why they are also known as synthesis reaction, because we are combining 2 or more reactants to form a different compound, that is your single compound. So this is a synthesis reaction also. Then we have decomposition reaction, where a certain form of energy is supplied to the reactant in the form of either heat, light or electricity to break it down to give out your 2 or more different products. So if you are providing heat energy to break down a compound, it is known as thermal decomposition reaction. For example, calcium carbonate, if you provide it heat, it will break down to produce your calcium oxide and carbon dioxide. So this is an example of your thermal decomposition reaction. Then we have your photolytic decomposition reaction, where in the presence of light, your certain single reactant will decompose to produce 2 or more products. For example, decomposition of your nitric acid in the presence of sunlight to produce your water, nitrogen dioxide gas and oxygen gas. Then third is your passing electricity through the reactant to break it down into different constituents. That is known as your electrolytic decomposition reaction, where if you pass electricity through water, it will decompose to give out your hydrogen gas and oxygen gas. These are the 3 different types of your decomposition reaction. Then third type of reaction is your displacement reaction, where the most reactive element displaces the less reactive element from its salt solution and form its own solution. Example, when your copper sulfate reacts with iron, produces your iron sulfate, and copper is produced as a precipitate. Then we have double displacement reaction. So in double displacement reaction, when two compounds react together in their aqueous form to produce an insoluble salt, that is your precipitate, as one of the product, that is your double displacement reaction. And this reaction takes place through mutual exchange of radicals. Okay, radicals means that is a positive and negative species. So the positive species of one compound will combine with the negative species of the other compound, and the same thing will happen with the negative species of the first compound and the positive species of the second compound. Thus a precipitate is formed. For example, your barium chloride reacting with sodium sulfate. So barium will go and react with your barium chloride will react with sodium sulfate to form barium sulfate as a white precipitate, and your sodium chloride is formed. So this is a type of precipitation reaction under double displacement reaction, where essentially a precipitate is formed in the product. Okay. Second type of double displacement reaction is neutralization reaction, where your acid and base reacts together to produce a salt and water. Okay. So this here also you can see the H plus ion from acids react with the OH minus ions of the base to produce your water, and the anionic part of the acid will combine with the cationic part of the base to produce a salt. So this is an example of double displacement reaction, and hence known as neutralization reaction, when your acids and bases react together to produce your salt and water. Clear? Now one more form of reaction we saw here, that is your hydrolysis. Hydrolysis generally means the breaking of compound in presence of water. So it is a process where you take a salt and you react it with water to give out a acidic or basic solution. In this process of hydrolysis, we either take those salts which are formed by the reaction of strong base and weak acid, or those salts which are formed by the reaction of strong acid and weak base. So these salts will react with water. So with the salt which are formed by the reaction of strong base and weak acid are known as basic salts, and they will react with water to produce your basic solutions. And the acidic salts, that is mean the salt which are formed by the reaction of your strong acid and weak base, will react with water to produce an acidic solution. So this was all the summary of today's session, what we have learned till now. And let's have a few questions as a part of our discussion so that you can understand how to solve the questions. For example, first reaction that we have is chlorine reacting with KBr to form your KCl and bromine is formed. What type of reaction is this? Is it combination reaction? Is it decomposition reaction? Is it displacement reaction? Or is it double displacement reaction? So if you all can see, chlorine is displacing bromine from its salt solution and forming its own solution, and bromine is produced as a gas over here. That means chlorine is displacing your bromine. So this is an example of your displacement reaction. कैसा reaction है ये? Displacement reaction is this. Clear? Let's balance this equation if it is not balanced. So 2 chlorine, 2 bromine. Okay, let's put 2 over here, 2 over here. So already balanced. Clear? Now let's go with the second type of reaction that we have. So all of you have to identify and answer it in the comment section. Iron reacting with copper sulfate produces copper and iron sulfate. What is this reaction? Combination, displacement, decomposition, or double displacement reaction? Tell me fast, all of you. What is this reaction? So you can see over here, iron being more reactive than copper, displacing it from its salt solution. So this is again a displacement reaction. So let's balance it if it is not balanced. So it's already balanced, no need to balance it. Then HgO producing your silver and oxygen. So tell me fast, if what is this reaction? HgO breaking to produce your silver and oxygen. Mercuric oxide breaking down to produce your mercury and oxygen. What is this reaction? All of you tell me fast. Yes. So of course your single reactant is breaking down to produce 2 or more product in the presence of heat. So this is a decomposition reaction. If you want to be very more specific about this type of reaction, this is your thermal decomposition reaction. Okay, it's your thermal decomposition reaction. Clear out, everyone? Tell me fast. Then one more reaction we have. Let's identify that. Silver nitrate reacting with NaCl to produce sodium nitrate and silver chloride as a precipitate. So what is this reaction? If anybody can answer this question, what is this reaction? Yes. So this is basically, you can see, your double displacement reaction. Yes, double displacement reaction. Okay, here the mutual exchange of radicals are taking place. Silver is getting combined with chlorine to form silver chloride, and nitrate is combining with sodium to form sodium nitrate. So if you want to be very more specific, this is your precipitation reaction under double displacement reaction, because here the formation of precipitate is taking place as one of the product. So this is your precipitation reaction under double displacement reaction. Okay, so this was all for today's session. So if you are interested in joining the ongoing batches on Plus platform, you can join the Champions batch, which is already ongoing for class 9 students. And we have also a new batch starting from 6th of April from your for your class 9 students for the new academic sessions. So you can join these all batches by taking a single subscription for Unacademy. And do not forget to use my code while taking the subscription, because without that code you won't get the 10% discount. And those students who are moving from 9 to 10, for them also the batches have already started. So a batch is already ongoing on the Plus platform, and from the 6th April also a new batch is starting for all the class 10 students for the new academic sessions. And we have a community on Unacademy app. So there every educator has his or her community. So you receive all the updates from the educator on the community. You can get the session notes and practice material on the community. You can share your feedback directly with educators. So you can check out the link of my community given in the description box, and you can join it on Unacademy app, and you can directly connect with me 24/7 on the Unacademy app. Okay. So there is a Bugs Bounty where you have an opportunity for all learners to report any inappropriate content found in the video, and you can be the first one to report this particular issue to claim your prize. So we have given a form in the description. So if you found anything inappropriate in the video of any educator or anything, you can report it to Unacademy and you can be the one to win the prizes. So this was all for today's session. I hope yes, Samriddhi, welcome to the session. So yes, this session is going to end now. So you are a bit late today. So no issues, you can watch the recorded session. Okay. So thank you everyone for watching the session live. Do not forget to subscribe to the channel, because without subscribing, you won't get the notification. And also do not forget to hit the bell icon. You can download the PDF of this session from the Telegram channel, whose link I have provided you in the beginning of this session. Okay. So thank you all. Bye. Take care and have a nice day. Let's meet again tomorrow at the same time on the same channel.